Welcome to GoToWebinar, Web Events Made Easy. Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an attendee in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Shadow Traders Training Program. My name is Melanie, and if you are new with us, I want to welcome you. We're going to get going in just a second. The market is moving right now on our wonderful 2 o'clock reversal. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me clearly and you can see my charts. Give me a couple of yeses. Excellent. Thank you very much. At the moment, I have our Segredo quants up along with our NinjaTrader with our proprietary indicators on. And so we're going to be covering, highlighting some key pointers today. Just want to get a couple of announcements out the way. Want to thank you all for sending me your emails. I really appreciate that, and I do want to encourage those who have been meaning to write in. Please send me your feedback. I'd really like to know how I can help you, whether it's if you're looking for some coaching or certain agendas to be covered in the classes, or specific topics that you'd like to see more of. Any type of event, what you'd like to see us do, because remember, Shadow Traders is a community group, and we're always evolving, and I do want to thank everyone for your patience. I know we've been, things have been kind of slow during the summer, and we haven't been doing too many big events or anything for you, as we did last year. We've been pushing really hard for the last few years, so we just kind of wanted to regroup and restructure some things. So I know I got a lot of emails of people who recently who've got friends who want to join and so forth, and I do want to encourage you guys to bring your friends, start your own little trading groups, because it will definitely help your trading. The best way to learn something is to teach it to somebody else. That's how I became really proficient at this Shadow Traders program, is simply because I'm forced to teach it to so many people every week and answer so many questions. So that's the best way to do it. Bring a friend along, and you guys can get through the learning curve together, and you'll be amazed. So we do. Shadow Traders is right now coming out with a new promotion very soon, and so just hang in there. We'll give you a new package to give to your friends, and so on. We'll let you know shortly. So look out for that, and also check in with the website. Did you say forced to teach? Yes, Barbara Cohen put a gun to my head. It was all your constant emails, your constant nagging that forced me to teach you. It drove me bonkers. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, yes, but Barbara Cohen is working on some things. She's always working on things and looking to raise the bar and bring different things for you, so that you guys can get all the tools you need to try to improve your performance. Trading is a very complex subject, and there's no right or wrong way specifically to do it. There's some definite rules to follow, and at Shadow Traders, remember, we definitely want to give you the real insider's view. With Barbara Cohen's experience over the years, she wants to give you that real give you those extra tools, those things that nobody else is talking about, because it's not just about the technicals. And what I found in all the coaching I've done and working with different traders is that it's a balance. You really have to check all the boxes. So I'm starting a new series of classes, and our classes are going to run every Thursday now for the time being, until we release any new schedule changes. From 2 p.m. every Thursday and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be covering the same agenda in both classes, so if you can't make one, definitely try to make the other. And for those of you who are thinking about using the Segredo, or you were using it before and you haven't, and you stopped using it for a time because of whatever reason, you have until the 15th of December to be grandfathered in at the $100 rate. Segredo Quants is going up. Unfortunately, when we launched, it was a promotional price. It does it does need to go up. It's going to go up to $149 a month. But all those who sign up before December 15th, you'll be locked in and grandfathered in at the $100 rate. So if you want to sign up for Segredos, you must use this link. Leave off the www. I'm going to type it in here. Check your inboxes, and it's shadowtraders.segretoquants.com. So I just sent it all, and if you need some help, if you've signed up with the wrong link or whatever, you need some help, or you have credit card issues or anything like that, do send an email to the Segreto Quants. They do have a support email on their website. Okay, when you go pull it up. Otherwise, if you're not getting any help or you're still stuck, just send me an email to melaniesuntrades@gmail.com for the time being. And I just sent that all to you as well in your little inbox. So let me see here, a couple questions now I'm going to, there's one more announcement with as far as the Segreto Quants. Once you have signed up with the shadowtraders.segretoquants.com, remember leaving off the www, when you go to actually use it, especially for those people who have older computers and stuff, when you're trying to run a lot of things on your computer, the faster URL to use, the faster web address, is to just use segretoquants.com. Leave off the Shadow Traders part. Just go to segretoquants.com, and so you won't have any freezing issues or anything like that. As you can see, I'm running Segreto plus my NinjaTrader plus GoToWebinar, and I don't have any freezing issues on my computer using Segreto Quants. And I only have 4 gigs, so I have a laptop, so it's not like it's a super duper trading machine. It's just a regular Asus 4 gig laptop that I'm using. So you shouldn't have any real issues. But if you do need help, there is a support as well. Explain Segreto, I'm new. I will definitely go into the Segreto more, but basically, what you guys have to understand is the regulations became really, really tough this year. The days of chat rooms and trade rooms are pretty much fading away because of the regulations to do with front running. If someone's in a room and they try to place a trade and say I'm going to short crude oil at 103.36, and there's 100 people in the room and everybody goes to short it, everybody else get in the room will probably most likely only get in at 103.34 versus 103.36, and what happens is the guy who initiates the call is guaranteed his fill, and everybody else is not necessarily guaranteed. So it's called front running. So he gets his fill because he got everybody else to play the game with him and guarantee his fill. So they've done away with that, which is why it's become really, really difficult in trade rooms. So Barbara Cohn has worked around this issue, and she's phasing everybody into the auto trading world. And it's a little bit of a transition, especially for us veteran traders who are a little bit more old school and used to the good old technicals. So with the release of Segreto Quants, it has now become a real-time robot room. So there's nobody actually calling the trade except for computer-generated signals. Now this is really beneficial because guess what? The human brain can only process so much information. You get tired after a while. You can't look at too many charts. You can only look at so many markets at once. Whereas Segreto, the Segreto actually processes, because it's a computer. That's the beautiful thing about computers. They have the ability to process huge volumes of information and spit out the key data that you're looking for. So now Segreto gives you real-time buy and sell signals, and it's a very simple view of the market, and now you can just look for your exact entries based on your buy and sell indicators coming in for your different trades, for your different strategies, I should say. So if you look at something like this, when you first sign into Segredo, you're going to get what we call a radar or a table, and it basically just gives you all the different markets that you can choose from. And on the left here, you can see you've got Forex futures, you've got stocks as well. And we've got different time frames. You can use the 1 minute, the 3 minute, the 15 minute, and we also have daily charts as well that come in. You can create your own portfolio by simply clicking the plus sign and creating a portfolio and just putting your own markets in there. And you just add what market you want in by clicking add symbol. You can type in here, this is for the Australian, and you can choose the month of the year that you're currently trading in. So right now we'll be trading in Z for the currencies. So I could just simply click add, and it would automatically add all the Australian markets to my portfolio. So there's the daily chart. If you don't want any in your list, you want to remove them, you simply click the red X on the side here, and you can actually just set up your workspace, as I covered in the previous class. You can set up your workspace however you like. You know, like I like to crop this and have my real-time mirror buy-sell signals next to my favorite markets, and then I put this on the side, and then I have my favorite charts that I like to use for my strategy. So for today's demonstration, I'm going to use the 1 and the 15 minute primarily today, just to demonstrate a couple of pointers. But here you can see the comparison between the 1 and the 15 minute NinjaTrader chart with all your technicals on there, and then the Segredo charts. So I'll get into the little nuances in just a little bit, but that's basically the gist of it. So if you want to sign up with Segredo as a Shadow Trader member, you're going to be granted a special rate of $100 a month. But you have until 15th of December to decide whether you want to use it. And you can always, remember, you're not locked into a contract or anything. You can always cancel at any time. There's a settings tab. You just go into the settings, and sorry, I got a lot of markets up here. Go into the settings and just simply delete your information, hit cancel if you need to cancel at any time. But it does auto bill, so you don't have to re-sign up every month. Okay, so let me see a couple questions here. I don't know about the TT platform with AMP right now. I have to look into that. I have to find out from Barbara what she thinks about and how it compares to NinjaTrader. I know they've sent out an email of this free platform at the moment, so I don't know how it compares. But I know for Shadow Traders, our indicators are coded for NinjaTrader, so you do need to download NinjaTrader if you want to access the proprietary indicators that Barbara's coded for you. You must remember that there's a lot of special tools and bells and whistles that she's created over the years for you to access, you know, like the momentum. Nobody else has the momentum through the candle, the fractal rays, the pivots that we use. These are all proprietary pivots that are created, so you still need to use this. Is there a Tuesday evening presentation? There will be some presentations coming real soon. They're just working that out. I'm not sure. I don't know what the actual schedule is for what and times and things. I don't know what day it's going to be on and all of that. But you know, we will be releasing a new promotional package for everyone. For those of you who want to bring your friends. Should we update to the new version of NinjaTrader? No, I wouldn't update just yet. I have to get word from Shadow Traders. I would just stay on 7.14 at the moment. We have a special class using the Auto Trader. I'm not sure just yet. Like I said, we will be any day now. We will be releasing the new schedule and so forth. But for the time being, just come to the classes. I am starting a new series of classes. We're going to start from the beginning, and we're going to work our way through the series. So today I want to go into some key pointers about your indicators, with related to the different strategies. Now, some of you have sent me some really good feedback emails for agendas, so please do send me some emails on what you would like to see and what kind of topics, you know, that you really need help with, and I'll see if I can create a program for you. Have I upgraded to Ninja 16? No, I'm still in 14. Is Barbara still doing morning sessions? She's not doing morning sessions for right now. Like I said, we took the summer, the end of the summer doldrums, to really sort of regroup, because we've been going gangbusters for so many years now. And we took this year to sort of regroup and refigure things out. We've been running the same promotion for quite some time, and, you know, so we want to kind of restructure things for everybody. Hers are the best. Yeah, I know. Barbara Cohen is, let me tell you, she's a wealth of knowledge. She really knows her stuff. You know, I don't know anybody else there who knows as much about the markets as she does. She really gives you that balance between technicals and that insider's view, which is really important in checking all the right boxes so you make the right decisions. For example, if we look at the 2 o'clock move today, remember, you know, if you go to a lot of programs out there, nobody's going to tell you about the 10 and 2 reversal, which is a fundamental move. And so with the 10 and 2 reversal, remember, remember I talked about in the recent classes looking for golden opportunities as opposed to trying to always anticipate the next candle. So you don't get caught in the noise. You know, you become hypnotized by the market, and then you get caught in whipsaw and fake outs. So if you already know, heads up, hey, there's a move there's likely to be something at 2 o'clock, there's likely to be something tradable at 10 o'clock, then if you're that nervous, hesitant trader that's been beat up a few times in the market, you've lost money, you're scared to pull the trigger, guess what? Go have a long brunch, breakfast, and show up at 2 o'clock and just trade that for 4 weeks till you make a little bit of money. Your whole psychology of trading will change once you make a few bucks. Or show up just at 10 o'clock and don't sit there for 2 hours before 10 o'clock, and by the time 10 o'clock shows up, you're tired and beat up already. So knowing these type of insider information is very valuable in terms of balancing what what you're trying to do with your technical decisions. So something like this, you know, as you can see, we always say, well, as Barbara has figured out over the years, that at 2 o'clock, and you're always going to get what's called a reversal. Now, a lot of people say, well, how did the market reverse? Well, if it's in a sideways position, remember, there's only 3 positions in the market. Okay? There's only 3 positions in the market at the end of the day. You either trending, counter trending, or going sideways. If you just look at candles by themselves, you got to think of them as directions of price action. So your price action is either going with a certain trend, or it's going against the trend for a short period of time, or it's going sideways. So here you can see we use our trend lines to help us see the trend of the market. And the trend lines we use are primarily the moving averages. So we have 5 moving averages here, and sometimes the market is clear of all of them, and sometimes it's only clear of some of them. So sometimes it's a mini trend, sometimes it's a really big trend. So as you can see here, the price action is clear of all of them, and so that's a longer term trend. And here it's only clear of 4 of them, so it's a shorter lived trend. It basically petered out as soon as it hit the 200 moving average. So going with the trend or going against the trend, as you can see here, if we look at this price action, the price action here is counter trending. It's doing what we call closing the gap back to the 13 EMA. Or we're trending, which we call a clear trade, because we are clearing the moving averages. We're moving away from the moving averages, so we clear all the moving averages. We call it a clear trade / trend trade. And if we're going towards the 13 EMA, or the moving averages, we call that a gap trade. We're closing the divergence, the gap that was created between the price action and the EMA, the moving average. So that's really it. There's only those two positions plus when the market's flat, it's going sideways. So it's 3 positions. So when we talk about a reversal, we're really talking about a strong move, and let's say the market was going to go reverse long, let's say the market was going up before 2 o'clock. At the 2 o'clock reversal, it will be counter trending. It will be coming down. If the market was counter trending before 2 o'clock, come the reversal at 2 o'clock, it will go up. So sometimes your reversal may be a nice clear trade strategy, and sometimes your reversal might be a little gap trade strategy. And if your position is sideways, well, then you got to sit there and wait. I would wait for the first bar to close, because you have to really decide whether the reversal is going to be long or short. So because sideways is still a position, the market it can take on a reversal in either direction. But if it's already in a position, like if it's going trending, then the reversal will be a counter trend. If it's already in the position of counter trending, come 2 o'clock, the reversal will be trending. So I hope everybody's clear on that. When time permits, please explain the ST clear trade. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jeff. What did I do to decompress my chart? If you want to scrunch your chart, you see there's a little F for Frank on the top right corner. You just click on that and it brings it back to normal scale. All right, so as far as the reversal, the nice thing about the Segredo, like I said, you want to wait for the first bar to appear, right, and close, especially if you're in a sideways position, because you're not quite sure. It could be long, could be short, and so on. And the nice thing about the Segredo is when things get fuzzy on the Ninja or your technicals, like somewhere over here where you're just kind of not sure at this point in the beginning of the trend. Further down, it's pretty clear. But at the beginning, it's always kind of fuzzy because we were green here, then we were red, then we're green, red. Where the Segredo comes in is that it now makes your view much more crystal. Because now we have the numbering system along with the very clear colored trend lines to give you the clear direction. And what you're looking for, obviously, is your red on red numbers, so your red numbers matching your red bars, or your green numbers matching your green bars on both the candles or what we call the oscillator, this histogram at the bottom here. And the nice thing about this is when you start to look at more than one time frame, you will see that your 50-minute already gave you the direction come 2 o'clock. So now we're comparing a 15-minute with a 1-minute, and now if you look at both, the 50-minute has got a red candle that's number 1, your trend line is red, your number is red, and your 1-minute is now matching your 50-minute. I call this matchy-matchy. Okay, you got 2 time frames that are in sync. When they're in sync, what that represents, it's kind of like the algorithm or the pendulum swing. It just means that majority of the traders are in agreement and they're all suddenly trading in that direction, as opposed to a handful trading one way and a handful trading another way. When you get contradictions in the market, or across time frames or across indicators, it means that there isn't enough traders trading in that direction. And that's why you get whipsawed. So you want to look for as much alignment as possible. And in shadow traders, we always say you cannot rely on one indicator to be your ATM machine. You can't just show up and think you're going to print money on one indicator. It's just not going to happen. What we say is you have to have 3 or more indicators in alignment to give you something that's high probability, where the majority of the traders are there. And we don't limit any traders. We don't say, oh, you can only, when the market's in the yellow range, trade, and when it doesn't, when it's not in the yellow range, don't trade, and then you sit all day waiting for this yellow range. No. What we do is we give you many options to choose from. Now, where traders get lost, in my experience over the last few years, is they try to put the whole kitchen sink on their chart, which is what my class is about today. Let's not put the whole kitchen sink on your chart trying to see the perfect market every minute of the day, because there is no perfect market. There's always an element of change. Always an element of change. Okay? So you always, as you can see now, you can see the price action is coming short here, and your 50-minute is still giving you that direction. So with the element of change, you have to factor in what you want to do is you want to make certain self-organizing patterns that repeat themselves stand out. And the way to do that is to work with your favorite set of indicators based on your favorite strategy. So Shadow Traders is giving you different strategies, and they're giving you different indicators and templates to work with to help you decide what is your favorite style or comfort level based on your risk model and how you like to look at the charts. Because remember, not everybody is the same type of thinker. I call it the lefties and the righties, the left brain thinkers and the right brain thinkers, just to give you an idea, because some people like, it's like the glass half full theory. Some people, if you put 10 people in a room and you ask them, is the glass half empty or is it half full, you're going to get most likely, 10 different answers. So it's very, very important for traders to understand this. It's not so much the coder's fault, indicators are one thing, but it's also how are you viewing and using those indicators, which is what I want to get into today. So before we get into strategies and time frames and markets, you're going to have to come to the next 30 days of classes to circle through all that information. But today I just want to focus on different combinations of indicators to work with the basic strategies. So let's play with the actual workspace today, and let's get into some of the bells and whistles that Shadow Traders has given you that you might not even know that's even there or not using, and how to combine the different sets of indicators to give you to make your favorite strategy stand out more. Does that sound like a good idea? I'm a righty and I like to zero in. I know this after watching myself, so I have to choose my setup accordingly. Very good. And less is more, yes. So remember, Rudy says it's a brilliant idea. Remember, we don't necessarily need to have all the best indicators on our chart. You're never going to see the perfect market. In fact, it's to your detriment if you do that, because certain indicators are going to contradict each other. And so I get constant emails, well, the circle with the dot didn't appear, or when the Linreg made a V, and do I take the counter trend if that happens? Remember, at the end of the day, you take the move if you have 3 or more confirmations, and it can be any combinations of the indicators that Shadow Traders provides you. We're not here to tell you only do it this way, only do it that way. We know that that doesn't work. There are systems out there that say, oh, just follow our methodology and you'll make money. The problem is that methodology only suits a certain market, and it only suits a certain type of trader. And then the rest of the guys can't make it work, and then they sit there thinking they're stupid. No, there's different types of thinking, different types of risks, different types of market conditions. And so you need to factor these in, and it's going to take you a little bit of hacking around in the simulator, but you'll start to connect the dots. Do you know what good trading volume is on NG? Well, NG is a lower volume market. I think it's not so much the volume necessarily, but because the thing about NG is that, you know, there's almost like it's a lot of under the table trading. Suddenly there'll be 20 contracts on the board, and next minute there'll be 100 contracts suddenly in the move, and it'll appear out of nowhere. So there's a lot of, so you kind of just have to work more with your technicals than the volume, and I would stick, it's very slow at 6:30 in the morning. I would only trade NG after about 7:30 in the morning. Can you replay Segredo with a Ninja simulator? You can't replay Segredo because remember, this is a real-time robot processing real-time hundreds of data from all the different markets. So you can't actually replay it. It's too much data, but you can have your historical chart up. Like if I wanted to replay crude oil today and I wanted to practice, the 10 o'clock move and so on, I could have this up and say, okay, well, 10 o'clock, the 15-minute candle was a 1, so I'll replay and I'll put that there and I go, okay, this is what it looked like on my Ninja, and I'll trade the move on the Ninja. I'll just kind of follow along with practicing what the Segredo would have looked like. So you can do it like that. Okay, so let's get down into the indicators. And if you have any other questions about schedules and all of that kind of stuff, hold them off to the end of the class. I'll give you an extra 10 minutes. I'll definitely repeat the announcements, and you can always email me as well. All right, so the first thing I want to tell everybody before we get into indicators is you remember there's lots of templates that we've given you. Now I have a whole bunch in here because the nice thing about these templates is that you can start with a template like here. Let's put on the ST chat room. Barbara created the ST chat room here, and she's giving you basically I think all the bells and whistles on one chart. And you can start with a basic template like this. Oops, why is it not loading? Oh, there, it's coming. And actually, let me just, I just realized that I was going to show you so many other things. And I'm just going to get rid of some of these extra charts because it's just going to burn up my resource here. Just bear with me 1 second here. Okay. So now, please understand that some of these indicators, they need parameter fixings and so on. There's lots of little arrows and things. These are the bells and whistles for the different strategies. Now, what you can do is you can start with a template like this, and you can go to indicators and take things off, and then all you need to do is once you've figured out what you want, you can right-click and click Save As on the chart and give it a name, So I've got lots of templates that I've already created for my different markets. For instance, if I'm going to do currencies, natural gas and all the currencies, those are more trendy markets, and I would recommend doing more of the trend trade strategy. For all the volatile markets like gold, crude oil, Russell, then you're going to be doing more of these scalping type strategies, and so we're going to be doing different indicators for that. So you can create different templates. So as you can see here, I've created templates like just with my HMA indicator or HMA combo chart, and you can the simple basic one. So you can create your own templates. So I'm going to start with one of my basic ones here. And if you want to start with a basic chart, I already have created one for you called the Mel's Basic Chart. And then you can add some of your favorite indicators, which we'll get into in just a second. And there's also in here, for those trend traders who want to do the clear trade strategy, there's the arrows with the parameters already done for you, which you can kind of tweak if you like for the clear trade arrows. Those are your CT indicators. All the CTs are your clear trade arrows. It's already set there in Mel's clear trade chart. So that template is already available for you. And so there's a couple of different templates you can just try out. Now I'm just going to quickly go to there's a couple of indicators that have been added at a later date after we created the basic templates. So you want to go to section 7 of your self-paced course if you're not sure about different indicators, and you go read up in there, because every time Barbara releases a new indicator, she always updates section 7, so it's always going to have the latest. So for instance, when you load the Mel Basic, the one indicator that's not going to be on that chart, which I have here, is called the HMA, the whole moving average, the HMA color change. So this indicator won't be on there. So you'll have to add it. And you just simply go to indicators on the top here, and you look for HMA color change. There it is. Make sure it's not the regular HMA, but the one that actually says color change, so you have the different colors. Just click new and apply. And don't mess with the parameters. It's all set for you. Okay? So now the first thing, so what we have on this chart right now is the core charting, I want to call it, without the bells and whistles. All we have on here are your moving averages, your what I call your lagging or long-term trend lines, and your short-term leading trend lines. So the moving averages, your stows, your 3 stows at the bottom here, your MACD, are your long-term trend lines. Those are more laggy. They'll give you more of a longer-term trend direction. Your short-term trend lines are your HMA color change, right? And your 2 linear regressions. The brown one is the LinReg 4. It's the fast one. It does quick changes for you. And the slower one is the orange one, which is your LinReg 9. Those give you slow changes. So now you can play with different things, like if you are a trend trader and you just want to see the trend, you can actually take off your LinReg 4. If you want to just be the scalper guy, you can take off your LinReg 9. You don't need both on, and I'll show you it's actually better not to have 2 on. It's better to just have, let's say you're the scalper guy. Let's just do this. I'll make this transparent. So if you're the guy who wants to do the counter trend, for instance, we'll focus on that for a minute. Now, by getting rid of one thing, it's less distraction on the eye. So now you can see, oh, look, I got the sharp V that I need for my counter trend. So let me just do this. I'm on at 7 p.m. tonight. Yes. Let me just pull up my, bear with me 1 second. I want you to pull up my list here. 1 second. Sorry, I meant to get it. Okay, so if we're talking about basic strategies, remember the rules are in the members download area. There's lots of PDFs you can look at, and the rules are in there under the 10-second PDF. Now I just gave a short quick summary just so it's easier for the class. So if we're looking at our basic trend and counter trend, so right now we're talking about the counter trend, and remember we're looking for 3 or more confirmations at any given time to align for our basic strategy. So one of the confirmations is when the circle with the dot appears. Now the circle with the dot, as you can see here, it's appearing, it's not going in the direction of the counter trend, but what we'll be looking for, if we're looking to do the counter trend going into the moving averages, you can see the timing of the circle with the dot appearing before it becomes an asterisk is a key confirmation. So when you see that, you're looking to go, oh, my entry is coming. Then the next thing is you will look for something that says shows your candle with a long wick or tail has just appeared. So as you can see here, you got these candles with these long tails. Then this asterisk would actually be a circle with a dot. You can see long tails, and then the circle with a dot appear, which becomes an asterisk, and then you get your counter trend. And then, of course, before you actually take the move, you want 5 or more ticks in divergence before you hit the 13 EMA. So if you're already too close to the 13 EMA, by the time you're looking for your entry, you're going to rule that trade out. If you see that there's enough space before you hit any type of barrier, the 13 or a pivot or something, then you would take the trade. And the most important thing, the Linreg 4 makes a sharp V for direction. So this is where the brown Linreg 4 would help you. Because it gives you such a quick change, it will give you those sharp trajectories. So giving you that, here we were coming down with the long tail. Now suddenly the Linreg flips. You can see how it flips very clearly as soon as it's trying to establish the direction. So we're going to wait for the next trade to come in, and we'll look for that. And then also you can use the HMA color change. So now you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 indicators just in the core charting that we can use to tell us this is a high probability move. But however, what I have noticed with a lot of traders is that this is still not enough. You want something a little bit more clearer. So let's look at some of the other bells and whistles that Barbara's created. So we'll come to that in just a second. Gap close. I have been waiting for the Linreg 9 to also cross over the HMA with the Linreg 4. No, not for gap closes. You don't need to do that. No. You'll be late on that. The Linreg 9, well, let's put it this way. If you're going to use the Linreg 9, it's more for reversals. So I'll come to that in just a second. But you remember your gap close strategy is a scalping strategy. That's your sniper trade, That's where you're getting in on those quick changes. Your slower trend lines, like your Linreg 9 and so forth, those are more for your trendy strategies. So for your trend trade and your reversals. Even though your reversal is a counter trend, it's really a marriage between your gap into your trend. So you don't want to be in too early in case it doesn't really reverse. So that's the reason we would use a Linreg 9. But if you want that real quick grab your 3 ticks before anything else happens, you need your Linreg 4, not your Linreg 9. You'll be in too late. And you could be on some sort of barrier already by the time you get in. So it's very important to use the right combination of indicators. So if you're looking at something like this, like let's say you wanted to steal 3 ticks here, you could have gotten 3 ticks out of this bar. It's crude oil. There's a lot of price action here. So as soon as you saw this long tail circle with a dot bouncing off the red fractal, Linreg 4 makes a V, bang, you're in. There's no time to wait for no Linreg 9. You want to get in, grab your 3 ticks before you hit the R4 and before you hit the 13 EMA. Because remember, you're always trading. The key thing about the scalping strategy is you're always trading within that 5-tick window. You're always trading within 5 or more ticks in divergence. You're jumping in there trying to steal 3 out of 5. Okay, that's the scalper strategy. And the good thing about the strategy is there's lots of opportunity if you're going to trade that strategy, especially if you're going to do a gold and crude oil, which give you a lot of price action in one bar. Now that strategy doesn't work in something like NG or as much. In the market like NG, let me give you a comparison, or even in 6E. 1 second here. I think I'll give you a comparison because I think this is a good time to bring up this point really quickly. Let's use the euro for a second. Does the HMA always change color before the gap close? No, it doesn't always change color. It can vary. Sometimes it can be a little late, like here. This entry would have been late if you waited for the HMA. And I covered this in my class as well. So now that's a really good question, because now we start to get into what confirmation, what indicators are we going to use in our little checking of the boxes to help us pick and choose which moves we're going to play. Because you see, now it starts to get really interesting, because if you were to wait for the HMA on this particular move, you would be too late. But what's nice is you can say, okay, if I use the HMA color change in addition to my Lundreg 4V circle with a dot 5-tick convergence combination, then at least I won't get caught in something that's really tight. So if I happen to be slow to pull the trigger, I'm not going to get whipsawed here. So now you can use your HMA as a filter. See over here, if I waited for the HMA, I would be guaranteed my fill. So now you add in an extra layer to keep you out of certain tight moves, and you only take certain high probability moves. This is where combinations of indicators are really, really important to help you filter the noise. Okay, and that's the issue I really want to address today. So let's take a look at what else can we use for our combination of indicators, strictly talking about the gap trade right now. So if you go in here in the indicator box, Barbara's created a lot of bells and whistles for you. Some of you may not even be aware of some of them. And you want to try some of them out. And if you go in the ST section, there's all the STs are basically shadow traders, proprietary indicators. The other stuff is just NinjaTrader generic stuff. All the old school generic indicators. So as you can see here, here's the ST clear trade one, which we're not going to get into just yet. But these two here, there's the ST gap fill. Okay, we're closing the gap. There's the ST HFT and the ST HFT fade. These three indicators are very good to use for your counter trending. Then additionally, if you want to add these other things like the ST stow signals as well. So let me just do this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add all four of them. ST gap fill, just click on it and click new. ST HFT, which is the HFT little pink box you'll see in a second. ST HFT fade, which is a nice little diamond. And then we have the ST stow signals. Okay, now we're going to click apply. Can't you remember? I think that the ST shadow, I think that was the white arrow. Let's see, let's add that in there. I'm trying to remember. Now, I always like to, as you know, I start with the Mel Basic chart. I teach people what are the basic criteria for the trend and the gap using the core charting, and then you go and you pick and choose your basic. Oh, we don't want that one. It's going to make it too busy. Then you go and pick and choose your arrows. Now your arrows, remember, this is not going to be 100%. It's not your ATM machine, these arrows. But they're friendly reminders, and they're very useful. They help you, especially for the nervous guys. They're very useful, and they help you give you that additional confirmation for extra things. So let's look at a couple of things here. When we look at these two moves over here that just happened, you can see the diamond is actually the HFT fade. What it does is it tells you these big bars here are your HFT bars, where you see, especially with these long tails of wicks, that means the HFTs are coming, couldn't sustain, and then they pull back. They come in, push it down, and then they take their profits. So if you look at this, the positioning of these particular diamonds, okay, what they're doing is they're saying, look, the HFTs came in already. Now it's time. They're taking their profits. Now it's time to grab your opportunity because we're fading with them after the HFTs. So these diamonds, you want to jump in to help you see where your HFTs have come in. Now, if you, let's say you, so for instance, like this particular one, what we talked about earlier, where the HMA probably would have changed color too late, you wouldn't take this because there's no diamond here. But here you start to see, oh, here's the diamond coming in, but I'm going to wait for my HMA color change to come in also. But I already see the diamond, so I know we're fading the HFT. The HFTs have already been in the market, so it's time to fade them. So I see my diamond, I wait for my HMA, and boom, I take my trade. So you can now use this as an extra, I'm not going to take this one, but I'm going to take this one scenario. You're going to use it to rule out certain entries. So here again, there's your HFT fade saying the HFTs have come in the market, it's time to fade. Maybe you wait for your diamond to appear, then the HMA to change color, and then you take your move. So you're using it for, hey, this is the setup, things are happening, I just need to choose my specific timing. Now the EX arrow is the same, it simply says we're closing the gap, this little EX. That's what the E stands for EMA, the 13 EMA, and X stands for close. So we're closing to the 13 EMA. That's what why it's called the EMA, EX. I've noticed that the diamond could flash. Yeah, things, well, that's the thing about the different indicators. You know, sometimes in the market, you will have a handful of traders appear, you know, and the technical indicators will say, will count the trades going on, and they'll go, oh, this is about to happen. And then suddenly those traders will disappear. It will fizzle. Nobody else showed up to play the move. So then the indicators change again. So that's why you have to check a few more boxes before you know for sure that there's enough agreement for you to have a high probability direction. Because sometimes a handful of traders show up, but nobody else joins them, and then things fizzle quickly. And that's the reason for indicators changing on you, which is always something you got to keep in the back of your mind. We can forget that when we're looking at the world of electronics. We think, oh, you know, because it's electronically there, it's true, you know, it's absolute. But there's always that element of change, because it's still a very human market. You know, there's still people making decisions, changing their mind. You know, it's all about agreements and majority agreements. So you got to remember that. You got to separate the world of technicals from the human factor. And it's a balance. So sometimes it's not always going to tell, things are going to fizzle. You just got to accept that. It's the numbers game. It's the law of averages. So you want to try to choose the ones that have most agreements. So we go to something like this here. This is very interesting because here you can see sometimes you'll get 3 diamonds in a row. And you'll get your EXs here. There's your telling you closing the gap. So I'm using 3 indicators now, all telling me the same bits of information. So now it makes it stronger. And the SX on there, what that says is that your STO 20 is crossing, overbought or oversold. Every time you see the SX, STO, cross. Okay? So for those, the nice thing about the counter trend strategy, as Barbara says, when you're looking for your perfect counter trend situation, you're looking for, those people want to follow the STOs, going from overbought or crossing oversold. That's what your SX indicator is telling you. So in this particular move, I have, not only do I have the STO is now crossing from overbought, going down to oversold, but I have the HFT fade, and I have my EX with the HMA color change. How many more bells and whistles do I need? I take that move, sniper, grab my 3 ticks, and I'm done. And it also helps you, what's nice, I'll tell you one thing that's nice about the having some of these arrows on as well is even if you're not doing the counter trend, for those people who are in the trend, let's say you're a slow to pull the trigger kind of person and you kind of wait and you wait and you wait and you get to here, you know, you're not sure, is the trend going to start again? You missed this move and you're wondering if it's going to go again. If you see these diamonds, you go, no, 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 we're in the counter trend. I'm not going to take that green candle. You're going to wait. So it can also, you can use it for the opposite strategies as well. Also using the strategy you are showing, if we are trend traders, we can wait. There you go. Somebody just said what I said. Take the best piece of the trend. Exactly. Exactly. So let's see a few more. Let's see how it plotted here, and then we'll see if we can catch one real time for you. See, look, yes, sometimes you'll get I put 3 of the counter trend strategy indicators on, but sometimes only one will show up. Here's the EX. So maybe you go, you know, it's too tight, it's too close to the 30, maybe I'm not going to take that one. But you can scroll back and see how many it gave you. You know, and you can also play with some of the parameters. So you can see here we've got tons of EXs, but it's too close to the 13. So maybe you decide, you know, maybe you get too many EX arrows. Maybe you want to take the EX off and just use the stow with the HFT fade diamond. That can also be something. And the other nice thing about, especially with the double arrows, something like this, where is if you get the first one and you're not quite sure, you got the nice sharp V there, you got the circle with the dot has already appeared, okay? You've got your nice big bar there. You're not quite sure, you wait for your HMA to change, and suddenly you see another one appear. Now you go, oh, I got 2, got my HMA, my Linreg 4 is already south of the HMA, it's already giving my V, is already on the inside. I jump in and grab my 3 ticks. So you can really use these additional arrows to give you more certainty. Now obviously, like I said, not every arrow, it's not an ATM machine. It's not there to tell you this is a perfect market. It's just saying this is the criteria for a gap trade right now. It's not saying this is the perfect gap trade, trade it and make some money. It's just saying this is the criteria. So you have to use your discretion, your judgment to say, do I want to play that one or not? It's telling me there's a gap trade there, do I want to play it? So and obviously we had a little gap trade here, but is there 5 ticks or more according to the rules in divergence before you hit the 13? The answer is no. There was a gap trade, but it wasn't one that was high probability. So this is why I don't teach arrows first, because what happens is people don't learn the rules of the strategy and they get lazy and they only look for arrows, and then they jump in something like this and they go, oh, I just got stopped out. What happened? The arrows lied. This doesn't work. No, that's not the right way to trade. Does that make sense? How do you get the pyramid bigger? How do you get the pyramid bigger? I think you can change, if you go into indicators, that's the HFT fade, you might be able to increase the size. You can play with some of these, let me see here. Probably at the top here. I'll have to find that for you, but let me see. So, I didn't code these things, so I don't know all the little nitty-gritties. I have to look for some of these things myself. But yeah, I would look in here and just go through it and see if you can find it. Now, so let me see something for a second. I'm just trying to see if an HFT box is going to appear. The little HFT boxes, they only appear real time, kind of like the buy and sell volume. So if you've added it, it's not going to show you something historical. you have to wait for the new trades to come in, and if there's an HFT bar that appears in the new incoming, then the little HF box will appear. It's a little pink box, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to appear for a second, and then I'll show you something else. But let me see here. I was going to give you a comparison between the euro market and, of course, crude oil for a second. Let me just do that, and then I'm going to show you the comparison with Segreta as well. Now, here's the euro market. Okay, now remember, within crude oil, and this would be the same with NG, with the euro market, you still could get some gap closes. However, there's a lot less price action. So let me just add the indicators on here for you really quick, because there's two different types of volume, two different types of markets. Crude oil is crude oil. Everybody and their brother is trading crude oil. The whole Arab nation and Saudis and you name it, everybody and their brother is trading crude oil. Not as many people are trading the euro, even though there's some nice volume in the euro market. So you got to understand that the bar, even though it looks like a green bar or a red bar, they can have different amounts of price actions. You always got to remember that. Sometimes we get caught up in the bar.